Welcome to another Three Aficionados episode. You know who it is. We're not going to reintroduce it anymore. Daniel's friends, the only people who listen to this, already know us. So we talk about all things analog, cars, watches, mostly a reason to crack off a beer. Today we're going to be talking about some watch and car news, updates from 2021, our major list, some updates to the garage and perhaps to the wrist. And I'll try to keep it coherent. And with that, let's go to pop it off. All right, boys, let's count it down for Daniel. I think he's catching up here. Oh shit, he's drinking out of a fucking mug. All right, 3, 2, 1. That's a travel mug. Cheers, boys.
Cheers. Cheers. I've got a nice ginger green tea with honey going on here.
Ginger.
Just kinda, my voice and throat's a bit off today, so I'm trying to rest up.
Sounds like someone's got the cove.
I really hope not. I used one of those rapid test kits a few days ago, and I was negative. So hopefully that, plus the old booster shot, which all you motherfuckers need to get.
That's right. If you're an anti-vaxxer, you can get fucked. We just got rid of half of our audience. And with that being said, what about Peter? What are we drinking here? I just want to hear him pronounce it one more time.
The Wild Rose Raspberry. The raspberry ale.
Raspberry.
Wild Rose.
Wild Rose.
Wild
Raspberry.
Rose.
Wild Rose.
The Wild Rose from good old Berta.
And I got
that stuff.
I got the Leffa. I got to compensate for Daniel. Leffa in a Guinness cup.
Yeah, I was gonna say Leffa in the Guinness glass.
That's some hyper masculine beer.
I got to compensate for my hyper unmasculinity. So
I've got some apologies to make.
What's on the wrist today, boys? Let's do a wrist check. Daniel, what are you?
All right, today I'm wearing. What was that?
What are you pairing with your ginger tea there?
Oh yeah, I'm going big pimping today. Got my Knox Dive Master on. Oh yeah, since I got it back from the shop, I've been wearing it quite often. You know, anytime I want to go out in public and take a gun with me, but I can't take a gun with me. I just wear this, and I feel like I've got my piece.
Glad Toronto is enforcing their non-carrying policies. You know,
it's getting crazy.
That Victorinox still really brings out emotion in me. Like, to see it on your wrist, I still really love it, and I'm glad that you're putting it to good use, better use than I ever would have. And we all know that Daniel would rock a gun much better on his wrist than I would.
Yeah, totally. For those wrist guns.
Wrist guns.
Yeah, no, I love this thing. And unfortunately, my camera is down today, so I just have my terrible, grainy, budget laptop camera to have a look at it.
That's a dark web serial killer, pedophile kind of camera.
It's funny you say that. I try and avoid those people as much as possible.
Do you?
Something I've been admiring about this since I've been wearing it again is the logo or emblem at 12 o'clock. When you see it up close, the loom is like, it's like so nicely applied. It's got this beautiful kind of rounded, round edge to it, so it really kind of like pops up in the light. And yeah, I really like it. I could go on about it. I think the dial is beautiful. Does this kind of nice reflective thing where it seems to, add depth to the dial itself, which I think's appropriate for the depth this watch is capable of going to.
And the depth of your character.
Yeah, that's right. Still waters run deep.
Let's talk about the deepest man in his wrists.
This one wrist is on flex tonight. It's just the Tudor is for you. Well, I mean, I honestly don't know if I've had this watch on for a while, couple episodes at least. I actually just took it out of the box after the weekend. It was hidden away in my apartment for the weekend. So and now I got it back when I came back, and it felt good to put it on the wrist. Felt it's a lot heavier than the G-Shock, that's for sure, let me tell you. So that definitely puts this thing a little bit heavier. But yeah, I love this watch. I don't know, it's every time I put on my watch or wrist, I just catch myself staring at it all the time. Just one of those watches that even though I've had it for a couple years now, it's just like you're just staring at it all the time. It's like, dang, that thing still looks good.
I love the 369. That's what I appreciate the most about it. It's got the Explorer kind of 369 numerals.
It's cool. Hey, yeah, I like it as well. It's got like a very interesting kind of touch to it. And then the colors I find kind of complement it well. It's almost kind of like a rusty look to it with the brown dial and then the rusty kind of bezel. It's cool. What do you rock? I feel like you're rocking 2 watches tonight from the look of it.
From the look of this douche face. Well,
I feel like I saw it when you were doing your beard there.
Well, that kind of leads. We're burying the lead a little bit about the one of the reveals. But first, I'll start with the one that's already been clearly in the video for the half of the people who are actually watching this on YouTube. I think we're up to 12 viewers, so that's probably half of it is us. Mostly Daniel just watching this in the dark with his dark web camera and with no pants on. Speaking of which, I'm actually wearing bike shorts, so I won't stand up for you guys. But so I revealed too much. But here's what's on the wrist. Here's the Kermit. I love it. I totally forgot about how much I love it. This is the real Kermit, the anniversary it's aluminum bezel, a green bezel. The anniversary with the maxi dial and the maxi case. Or no, I don't think it had a maxi case. It was the old case, but the maxi dial, larger numerals and larger hands, had the green bezel. I think it was about a 2007. I can't remember if it was an M serial or so. It's nice and crisp and got great edges. I really love it. Like the photos don't do it justice, and when I see it, in my photos on my phone or on Instagram, or when I just glance at it in the deposit box or the safety deposit box of the bank, I'm just like, I don't know. But then the moment I put it on the wrist, it's just got this perfect balance of everything. It's got 1 foot in modern and 1 foot in vintage, and it's really timeless. So I don't know if I'll be able to let this go. The reason why I pulled it out of the deposit box was because I'm contemplating maybe going to San Francisco for one of these symposiums for oncology in February. So I was like, maybe we talked about going to HQ Milton and maybe taking 2 watches and flipping them into one at HQ Milton and getting a grail piece. But I don't know if I can let this go. This is so good. And Daniel, I still have photos of this on your wrist, and it looked actually better on your wrist. You have more manly wrists than I.
That might be my favorite Rolex.
Really?
Could be a bold claim, but
Oh,
yeah, I think it's amazing.
I'd have
a really hard time getting rid of it.
I could see you out to sea in this.
That's right. Yeah, sail away with it.
Yeah, I could see this just. It's so under the radar, but it's still really sharp and catches your eye. It's like almost like a vintage 911, but not a full vintage 911. For those who know, they know. I'd say it's like a 997 911. It's not quite old, not quite new, but it's got that really good balance. It was before the ceramic bezel. It was the original green kind of anniversary Rolex, I'd say. So I don't know. If I let it go, will I ever get it back? That's the thing. So I feel like what I should do is keep this and let the 5513 go and maybe upgrade the 5513 to a bit of a better 5513. Or if I'm feeling crazy, go for a red sub. If I'm feeling crazy. But we'll see. We'll see what that works out to. We'll see what the trade-in values are. But I'm thinking 5513, you can always upgrade that at least. And it's more of a lateral move. Whereas if I let this go, it's gone. But that also will lead us to the news. That's some rumor mill that I want to talk about a little bit later on. But first, why don't we jump into new announcement for watches. You want to see what's on the other douche wrist? I think that we alluded to it already. So, and Peter already talked about the G-Shock, and I really like it. It's great for my workouts, and that's why I'm wearing bike shorts still. This is perfect for riding my bike like a D-bag. Got the John Mayer Gen 1 G-Shock with the Hodinkee collaboration. And I got it through the Can Watch Co. Website forum. And I really like it a lot. I think it definitely is something unique in my collection now. And I really love that the lume that you can't really quite pick up in this, when you turn on the, whatever the hell, the lume here, it's exactly matching to the G-Shock color.
That's
and
cool.
these are the same colors as, John Mayer's Casio piano, and that was kind of what he wanted to harken back, like 80s vibe. And I really like it. I like the gray. It has great wrist presence, but it's still something that kind of disappears on your wrist when you're working out, when you're being active. So I could see it being a great, something to ride my bike with and something to work out in and not have to worry too much. But at the same time, it's a Hodinkee John Mayer G-Shock, and I paid a premium for it. But I realized I was losing money by wasting so much time looking for one and just wasting time thinking about how I should get one or being pissed off about how I didn't get one. And I was just like, well, this is a great opportunity. I'll go for it. So, I mean, I paid too much for it, but not too much. So I got it at $475 for it shipped out to me from Ontario, Toronto. So
awesome. It looks great.
I like it. I like it a lot. I mean, it's still ultimately a G-Shock, and I paid way too much for it, but I realized I was just wasting time, and life was too short. So why the fuck not? Go for it.
Yeah, why not?
It was the biggest regret of a watch that I felt like I should have gotten. Actually, the biggest regret is the fucking GMT Pepsi with meteorite dial. How did I pass that up? Fuck, those are worth so much. But anyways,
win some, you lose some.
that
Won this round.
That was a big lose. I ranked that up with selling my 997.2 GT3 RS.
Well, you've got a GT2 RS in its place, so maybe you'll find something else that you can score with.
Well, that is something that we should lead off into, shouldn't it? Should we talk about a little bit of watch and car news? We talked a little bit about some rumors. Maybe I can just share my screen and see if I can bring up the right one here. Can I go here? All right. So this one, that's not shit. Okay, so I think that with regards to car news, we've got the new GR GT3, which I'm pretty excited about. This is sorry, my wife is vacuuming in the background. I feel like that might be a little loud. I'm gonna insulate myself with the doors here.
Terrible wife. Yeah. What is she doing?
Why is she cleaning?
Tell her to put that vacuum away.
The GT3 looks like a goddamn Batmobile. It was revealed at the Tokyo Auto Show, and there's no details on it other than it looks amazing. I think it's pretty cool, and I'm pretty excited for it. Thoughts on these images?
Looks crazy.
Yeah, it's super cool. It's like it's unreal looking.
Yeah.
What's exciting about it to you?
Well, it's a GT-based race car, and likely for the road, because this is a completely different platform. So from what I've researched, the Toyota group previously had a Lexus-based, I think, RC car, being their GT3 car. This looks like a completely different platform. People were speculating whether this might be a Supra or it might be a collaboration with Mazda's new RX car. But this looks like brand new, and it kind of looks like almost like an Aston Martin Vulcan meets Batmobile meets something
Mazda.
like, yeah, maybe like the Mazda RX as well. So maybe it is a collaboration, because Toyota does collaborate with a lot of other automakers, like on the 8.6 with Subaru, and on BMW with their Supra. So maybe it is a collaboration. I just hope it doesn't have a rotary engine in it, because those are cool engines when you have them on warranty, but afterwards they tend to kind of blow up, don't they? But they're cool.
Not everything is cool because it's different, you know.
Yeah.
I don't like rotary engines. I know rotary people are going to be like, fuck this guy, but the reality is like, fuck them, you know. Not those people. Those people are all right, you know, but those cars, you know, that make rotor, or those cars that utilize rotary engines, what is the point, you know?
Yeah, but then you see the triple rotor engines, and those are kind of cool. But I do pine for the old RX-7, the last generation RX-7. But I used
Yeah, I thought it was cool when it came out, but in retrospect, I dislike it a lot. I really dislike it.
I think we need to do a new segment where what douchey word did Steve use today? And today's word of the week is pine. I do pine. And here are some things that I do pine for. Here's some 2022 leaks. So there's recent leaks that came out from a variety of different Instagram accounts. They're supposed leaks, but there's like, I don't know whether these are real, but here apparently we've got a gold Submariner with the blue bezel and blue dial. So it's like, you know, right now they have the Smurf, you know, with the white gold, but it has a black dial and the blue bezel. I personally liked the old Smurf with the blue bezel and the blue dial. But I think that Rolex has been doing a lot of cost cutting, where they usually just maintain the black dial and then they update the ceramic bezel. So I don't know how much these are likely to be real, especially when you look at the other reveals. But I'll get into that in a second. So then there's also the rose gold. Oh, sorry, this is rose gold Submariner. It's not yellow gold. So that's kind of interesting. I think it'd be kind of cool if it was real. I'm not going to hold my breath for it. And then there's I think there's a rose gold blue dial day date president. Both look kind of cool to me. But then this is the most discussed, these two components, which makes me really think that this is unlikely to be real. So there's a 41 millimeter Hulk. So we've got the Cermet, which I've got, with the black dial and the green bezel, but they're saying that this is the return of the Hulk going up from the prior generation, which I have of the Hulk, up to 41 millimeter, which would probably kill off the values of the flippers back at Phillips. What was that one like sold for, like 50 grand or 45 grand or something like that? So I feel like I kind of doubt this, like these both the colors, the bezel and the dial being changed. I think they would be cannibalizing the Cermet. What do you think about this? Do you think that it's likely to get a new Hulk here?
I think we've seen stranger things. You know, you're right that they don't tend to stray too far away from what they have been doing, but maybe that's part of the point, is to regain control over the market value of the watches.
Yeah. The thing is that I would understand the argument if they actually were producing that amount, right? Like I understand with Porsche releasing, for example, manual GT cars again. That was them clawing that back after the 911R went nuts and flippers went crazy. So if they were really going to do that, shouldn't it be more accessible? And I mean, Porsche always does supply less than what the demand is, but Rolex is so under the demand. Like they could really just keep on making the Cermet. To me, I just don't understand why they would update this immediately a year after having the Cermet out on the market when tons of people want it. I still really enjoy it. In fact, it's my main daily driver of all these green Submariners because it's the lowest of the values. Well, actually, maybe it's a little bit higher than this Kermit, but it's definitely lower than the Hulk, and it's kind of comfortable. Anyways, the one that makes me really doubt this the most of the leaks is the steel Daytona without the ceramic bezel here. And some people have said, well, maybe it's actually perhaps white gold. I think that's unlikely. This just looks like an old 116520 white dial. So I don't think I'm compelled, surely based upon this Daytona here, although I really like it. Yeah.
Like, how reliable is this dirty back web Reddit page that you found this information on?
It definitely came off of the dark web in which you currently dwell. Because look, they also are saying that they're going to bring back the black bezel GMT Master 2. And it's like, well, at the same time, don't they have enough demand? And if anything, probably the most demand is currently for a Coke rather than an all black bezel GMT. See, I think that this is all generally a mantra towards, well, we're going to claw back all the flippers, high yield of profit. But I don't know. It would be cool. I think I'd welcome all of these, and I'd happily buy all of them probably if I, money no object.
I like that rose gold day with the blue dial. I thought that was quite attractive.
Is that the one that you'd go for? Which one's everyone's favorite?
That's my favorite.
You're going for the president, the blue president?
Yeah.
Yeah, mine as well. Honestly, I don't that Submariner, the rose gold Submariner really doesn't exactly click for me. I kind of like the Smurf now. I'm like though, like you said, do the oldest Smurf with the blue dial as well. I kind of like that one. So yeah, I gotta say for this one, mine as well as the date.
Yeah, I think that they did do the Smurf previously with yellow gold, but I don't think they ever did rose.
It looks kind of, honestly, I find it's just like too much. It's almost like too much going on at once. Like I find the date just almost to be a little bit more toned down. I find the Submariner just kind of like very in your face.
Yeah.
Those are the same reasons why I chose it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough, boys. Well, let's jump into the next segment. For Daniel's point, we are going to earmark this. This is our top picks of 2021, currently 2022. But our top picks of top cars, top watches from each one of our perspective. We've picked one car, one watch from the past year. And then if we can pivot on the point, talk about what we're anticipating the most for the coming year. So I guess I'm basically jumping from announcements of 2021 or releases of 2021. Let's start with Peter. Peter, you got any picks there? Do you want to share your screen? Do you have?
Yeah, I don't
picks off the screen there.
I didn't pull them up on the screen. I probably should have done that. That was a week.
That's okay.
My part, but a couple of my favorite picks, and I honestly kind of just picked them as being ones that I didn't so much as talk about throughout the year, kind of thing. Like ones that I actually don't even know if I mentioned on the podcast. And they're things maybe they're not necessarily my favorite, but just cars that I did or in watches that I did like. And one of them was the Lamborghini STO. I thought that was a very interesting release there from last. And I guess it more was a release from the last 2 years, but I believe they more just came out this last year. So kind of that's why I chose it. But I didn't really talk about it very much on the podcast. And it was one of the ones that kind of really put me back as being just a very unique looking take on the current Lamborghini. And I mean, it's still very similar as to what they always have been, but I thought it looks really cool. So kind of one of my, I would say more interesting picks of the year. And for watch, that was a really hard one. The watch was definitely difficult. There's a few, but I would think like one of my favorites, and for just being the amount of different color combinations they came out with was the Casio. I just found because like it was cool to see everything that started to come out with the different color combinations. I just thought it was very neat, and being that I own one myself, I just thought it was very tried and true. So yeah, it's kind of was my choice for that. I just enjoyed how like they make like a very achievable watch to be something very cool with. Yeah, there we go. Steve just popped up some of the color combinations. Like even like I know Steve, is this the one you ordered, Steve?
Yeah, well that's going to be coming in the next reveal later on this month. So the 21-110 ET8ADR for Douchey Doctor with the gray. This one's the gray G-Shock Casio is the one that I ordered. It was the discontinued one that got killed off back in I think a year ago roughly. and it looks pretty cool on some images. So I'm excited for it. I think that's a good pick. The only thing though that I'll have a slight gripe with you about, I guess the Casio, wasn't it introduced in like 2019?
It was,
There's
but
new revisions.
my
What's your favorite
is
pick of those?
the thing was more for me just was kind of the different color combinations that they continuously introduced. Like I believe the red one was more of a recent introduction. I mean, I may not be exactly, I'm pretty sure it was last year.
I
So
think
that's kind of was,
they
go ahead.
first came out with black, the black, and then the red. I
or
believe.
red was,
I can't remember. The earth tones got introduced later on, and then most recently they've had these different colors like green and yellow.
yeah.
This is the one that's always all over Instagram. It's the one that's like the rainbow colored modified G-Shock Casio. What do you think about this? The rainbow Casio. It's not a real thing. In fact, I have to go into the dark web to get it. Would you modify your Casio to make it look like this? To make
No.
it look like a 6'9"?
I don't like the
FP69?
multi this color, but I kind of like
I can't even
the
open it.
one that has like the splattered dial. That one's really cool.
I like that one as well.
Yeah, the one that's modified. But
Yeah.
yeah, I guess one thing actually that I did have besides the Casio that kind of surprised me this year, and it wasn't even one of my favorites, but it's one that's kind of got me thinking into the future, is the 2021 Doxa sub that they released at the Geneva show. And yeah, that's another one that kind of had me like, and I wouldn't even necessarily class as being my like maybe my favorite, but it's one that just kind of put me out by surprise, and it was so beautiful. And it's just one that I constantly kind of like keep an eye out for if one of those would ever like pop up on the market kind of thing at a
You'd
more.
do this orange dial, wouldn't you?
Sorry?
I see you doing this orange dial Doxa sub 2200, right?
I-
Cool.
I don't know.
Or would you be Tiffany?
I thought you would say blue.
You just blew yourself, Tiffany, right here.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny because I thought about that too. I'm like, well, at this point, maybe this is turned into my achievable Tiffany dialed.
Holy shit, it's $950. That's all it is.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
they're
really nice.
very reasonable. Yeah, the carbon one's more expensive. The carbon one's like up to, I can't remember how much it was I looked last time, but they're like a
2,500.
yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I was thinking a couple $1,000, but
Oh man.
yeah, and they're cool too. But yeah, that was kind of one that put me by surprise this year too. And it was interesting. There wasn't like a ton in, like there was a lot released I found, but there was just not a ton that really like put me back as to be like, oh my God, like that thing's crazy. Like, yeah, there was some huge watch releases, but I just find some of them are like, they get released, but then now with the way the market is and things like that, they're just so blown out of proportion that they make them less enjoyable, even like just to think about or like even look into, because it's just like, wow, it almost like just makes you mad just to look it up. So it's like, what are people doing kind of thing? It's crazy. So this is one that I kind of thought put me by surprise and still constantly kind of sits in my mind.
I think that it would be, I think we need to do a group buy here. What's with the beads of grain rice? What is it? The grain rice bead bracelet? It looks like anal beads. No, it looks like the beaded things that you put on the couch or on your grandma's car chair. You know, the thing that gives you a massage and like stimulates your taint. I feel like that does not look good. I think it's because it's not fully executed, because it's got like the grains in the middle, but then on the sides it's got like oystery kind of bracelet. It's like a merging of the two. I don't get it, because I think you should do one or the other. Other than that, I really like it, man. It's so good for that price, and especially at that color. That color is like probably the watch color now that we've had the Tiffany Patek and we've had the Tiffany Oyster Perpetual 41. I think that's a dope ass watch. I think you should go for it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you would change the strap or not.
Oh, that would be the first
deal breaker for this watch.
Well, probably like Steve said, it would be one of the first things I would do. I don't know what I would put on it. Maybe I
Rubber
actually
strap.
think, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think this would look really dope on like a black rubber strap. I think it would complement the bezel really nicely.
Mhm.
Anal beads and black rubber strap-ons. That's the way Peter rolls with his dog. Daniel,
Oh my, we are well-rounded aficionados.
Daniel is getting very excited when he hears black rubber strap.
Oh man, this has been a great time.
This is what happens when you drink ginger things.
Every time that we talk about, sorry, every time I drink ginger tea, yeah, bad things happen.
Ginger balls. All right, ginger balls. Tell us about what you want. What's your top car and top watch of the past year?
All right, let's have a look here. So my top watch pick is the Oris Big Crown Pointer Date.
God damn, you have a
Just
hard
come
on
out.
for this one.
The new one, the caliber 403 with that beautiful deep blue dial. I think this is my favorite watch of the year.
Good for you. I feel shitty for shitting on it. No.
It's really pretty. The dial looks
I have
awesome.
a wide variety of taste, you know. This is something that appeals under one of those categories. This is I love the small seconds at 6 o'clock. I think it just looks, this looks to me like it could have been made at any point in watch history. Like it looks timeless. You know, the domed crystal looks to me just like such a nice finishing piece, you know, nice icing on the cake. That to me is what I would go for.
I can respect that. It is quite a nice watch, and I do agree that it looks very timeless.
So if you want to shit on us some more, we do have time.
No, I
The
primarily
segment's not over yet.
I primarily shat on its price point.
Well, I'm not thinking about the price, you know. To me, watches have all become pretty ridiculous except for the run-of-the-mill G-Shocks. And I love G-Shocks, you know. Like Peter said earlier, something that I love about the G-Shocks that I've had is that you do seem to lose them on your wrist. And sometimes, you know, like the bracelets are pretty crap and they feel stiff, but they're extremely light. You totally forget that they're on once you get moving or doing stuff. Sometimes they're a little bit big for me because I have very delicate wrists, but they're one of my favorite watches. You know, so they're all reasonably priced. More or less everything else is like gone nuts except for the companies who are kind of failing. So, you know, like, yeah, you can go out and buy a Longines for a lot less than this, but they might have been interesting at some point. To me, they're not that interesting anymore. And a brand like Oris has become, or has continued to be, very interesting to me. And it seems like, you know, in a way, market trends are following that taste where for some reason, you know, I liked them before they were big, right? That's right. I discovered them before everyone else. You're welcome.
And it was there first.
So that's my watch pick. And then my
It is a beautiful looking watch.
Is well, I suppose my car pick is the car pick that's an anticipatory car pick. I think this is the car that I'm most excited for coming out. So specifically, I'm hoping to see the more powerful version of this. But you know, ever since I worked for Subaru years ago, the more I've driven them, the more I've really, you know, grown to love the way that they drive. You know, like, as people would say, they, you know, like, their driving dynamics are just incredible. And for the price point, there's very few other things out there that can offer the amount of fun you can have with also, like, you know, good all around ability. So I'm really excited to see. I mean, I've been waiting for a long time for the new generation to come out, and I don't think they're going to disappoint.
No, I agree. It's, you were talking a little bit about how the WRX measures up to the Golf R, and it was kind of interesting thinking about that. I mean, I think that I've actually been developing a greater passion for the Golf R than I ever thought I would. And it certainly made me think a lot about what it was like with my STI experience with Daniel that didn't require antibiotics. And I felt like that was a bit of a buried joke that I probably should have used a bit more intonation. I don't actually have AIDS, but if I did have full-blown AIDS and I did previously own a Subaru STI, and I also currently own a Golf R and have no chancres. There's a lot of buried medicine in there. I don't know if anybody's following. It's probably for like half of a population of people who are actually listening to this. But regardless, comparing.
Know that you were awarded the oncologist of the year in your field.
The oncologist of the year.
Take it easy with the big words for the rest of us. All right.
Just to clarify, I was definitely not awarded anything like that, but I was on Best of Oncology West. For those who want to learn about prostate cancer and to see me stammer in my office, feel free. Comparing the Subaru experience to the Golf R experience, I feel like the Subaru was a bit more raw. It was a really cool car and certainly was a great all-rounder, and if you had to own one really well-rounded car back then, I thought the STI was cool. But Daniel and I know about our friend whose STI blew up, and it wasn't full-blown AIDS, it was his engine. And that always rings in the back of my mind. This is an interesting car, the new WRX. I don't know about the looks. And, the Golf R is just has a precision and refinement that the STI never touched. But I would say the STI is much more raw, and it sounded like a lot louder. So the Golf R is somewhere along my spectrum from, raw, visceral, and purposeful to more refined and precise. And I feel like I'm somewhere in between. And I feel like I gravitate a little bit more towards the Golf R. So I've really been enjoying my Golf R experience to the point where it's like, you know what, you might actually take a bit of a hit when you try to sell it. But at the same time, I'm really enjoying it because I think it's been a great winter driving it around. And the thing is just so playful and enjoyable. And even in the dry now, we've recently had a warm Chinook roll through. I've been able to really push it. And I'm almost at break-in. I'm currently at 1,100 kilometers. So I'm enjoying the shit out of that car. So I totally get this. And I think if I didn't have the Golf R right now, the WRX would be pretty tempting if it weren't for those goddamn god-awful angles. Some of the angles, I just think it's weird looking, but we'll see. It'll be interesting to drive. I will be very open-minded, but slightly shitting on it just because it's Daniel's pick. Just like the punches and the car picks, I have to shit on everything Daniel loves.
Most of the time, I'd kind of just deal with the way Subarus look. Like they're not my favorite car based off of their exterior aesthetic. They don't really win in that department. What they did do was they won me over multiple models and just demonstrating their skill sets and how competent they are. Like I think actually the Crosstrek is the only car that they make that I actually like the look of it. But anyways, that's going down a whole other road. I'll pass this back off to you, Steve, so you can talk about how great the Toyota Yaris is. And,
that's right, Toyota fanboy right here. You got to stop sharing so I can bring my shit up, my Toyota fanboy shit. Okay, number one, I'm going to start with my car pick, and this one just like surprised me. And it will not surprise anyone, but I was surprised when I saw it just pop up. There was like, there's been more spottings of interesting new colors of it. And I feel like this is probably how I'd spec it. Sorry, I can't bring up a better photo of it, but there's like on Instagram, just showed up today, a shark blue GT4 RS. And I feel like this is the car for me of 2021 reveals. This is just it. Even though I wish that it was in a manual, to have a GT3 engine in a GT4 mid-engine 718 body. I think it's a really cool car and it's unbeatable. If I really had to be pragmatic, get it without Visac package. And this thing looks so good without the Visac package on it. I don't think it does because it doesn't have the stripes or the roof or the wheels. And I'd be so happy with it just like that. Does that blue not look amazing? Come on, Peter. This would definitely be something you put on your wrist.
It looks
Yeah.
fantastic. I would drive the shit out of that car.
This is the first time it's been seen in that color and it looks so good. Like I totally forgot about the gray and the what is the goldish kind of wheels. But at the same time, just get that with magnesium wheels, I think it would look super cool. I think that's how I'd spec it, but I'd still probably want the Visac package. I don't know, but I think it's my number one pick of the year. There's a lot of close contenders, obviously the GT3, and then obviously we'd be thinking about the Corvette Z06, but I think this is the number one for me. And Instagram is telling me that I have to log in and I can't remember my login, so I'm an elder.
That was my second choice.
Was it the Corvette?
I was
That was
debating
mine
it to the last minute, basically.
Yeah, we're
Another pick
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, was it also your second pick?
Yeah, I had it on my sheet as well because I was like, but we talked a lot about that, so I was like, maybe someone else was gonna choose that. That's kind of why I went a little bit out of the box. But
you knew I was gonna do that or the Yaris.
I saw for sure he was gonna choose that, so I was like, I'll go with something else. But no,
That is something that I didn't mention from like a news breaking thing. We did talk about the GR GT3, but North American centric. I didn't really talk about the GRMN, more track focused Yaris. Man, I wish that we had access to that, but I think that's something that I'm looking forward to a lot for this coming year, because it hasn't been announced yet. So I think that the GR Corolla is probably like one that I quite literally want to purchase, but it's definitely not going to be released immediately because everyone was expecting it was going to be a Tokyo Auto Show and we didn't get it yet. So I'm actually surprised. I think it's probably going to be later on in the year that we end up seeing it. So probably the way that I see the garage evolving is I have a feeling the Civic Type R is going to come out. I'm going to get the Golf R and then I'll be like, shit, Golf R, I'm going to lose money by trading it in. Maybe I should just hold on to the Golf R and just flip the Civic Type R, let it go, make money off of that, and then wait for the GR Corolla. Because really, like Daniel says, because he's the pragmatic one of us, actually probably Peter is the most pragmatic of all of us.
No.
But Daniel will be my conscience and tell me, fuck you, you can't have a Civic Type R Rice Rocket and drive it in the winter in the middle of -30. So you hold on to that Golf R, stop being a Nancy Pants, wait until the GR Corolla. That's
You just said that Peter is pragmatic and I'm a racist asshole.
I think I did say that. There was something anti-Semitic I think I probably put in there, but something around that.
That was a cheap joke.
I get what you said there, and I won't explain why that's funny. That will be racist. Here's my part. Did we do your? Yeah, we did. Okay, watch pick. Tudor Pelagos FXD. That's my pick. This thing I want so bad, more than actually all Rolexes right now. As far as like just objectively from a watch perspective, I really, really am impressed with it. It's not low, but I think it's a dope watch. The fact that it's something that's probably in line with this Kermit. It's got like one toe in the vintage and the old school with the Marine Nationale, and something that's got one toe in the modern. And it's got a little bit of a thinner case, and it's on a strap. It's just something that's filling a void that's in my current collection. It's really interesting. It's bi-directional rotatable countdown bezel. I kind of fantasize about taking this to Hawaii and going surfing. Although I'd take the G-Shock, and probably not this G-Shock. I'd probably take the Casio because this one cost me too much fucking money. But yeah, I think this is my number one pick. Am I a fool?
No, that looks sweet.
Yeah,
I was basically just sold on it in one of the previous images of seeing it underwater on the scuba diver's wrist.
Yeah.
I thought the underwater silhouette of it just looked amazing.
No, it looks really good.
I don't find myself in that specific situation to admire it myself very often, but I could take it in the bath,
Yeah.
turn the lights off in the bathroom.
We all know that Daniel likes to light a few candles and put on some very white.
Yeah.
Put on his favorite dive watch and just wax poetically.
If you take a bath in someone else's house, make sure you check that their candles are not electric candles before you start to light them.
Yeah. Well,
that's my tip.
My tip is that Daniel has troubles determining the difference between a candle and a vibrator.
This isn't a candle. It's a vibrator. What?
Wait. Why is this vibrator burning extra hard?
Is it supposed to burn like that?
All right, structure. We're getting off track. I'm losing grips. The left foot is getting lower. So let's go into where are we seeing the next year? What are we looking forward to the most in 2022? Cars. Let's do first cars. Daniel. Peter.
No, you take it off. You take it off.
I'm taking it off?
Yeah, let's go.
Well, I'm unprepared, but I will go. Well, I think I already said it. GR Corolla is probably my biggest one that I'm looking forward to. I think that's the one I'm going to go with. I'm going to be practical about that because we're talking about things that haven't really been announced. They're on the horizon, kind of rumor mill. So I'm going to go with GR Corolla or GR GT3.
Nice.
I'm bringing it to a Toyota fanboy. I'm really impressed. Like Toyota is really on their game. I didn't think at all about Toyota in the past, like since the past Supra. That with a close runner-up of the next supercar for the Porsche. I think that it's probably going to be Mission R based. It's probably going to be electric, and we're all going to sit around and go, would we really pay $1.5 million for an electric car that's going to become, Elon Musk's scraps after a few years, right? So I don't know how much I can get excited about electric cars, but I'm open. If it's a hybrid, then I'll get pretty excited. If it's like a 918 recipe, then I'll go nuts. But I have a feeling it's probably not going to be that way. But we'll see.
Hybrids are the only electric cars I'm interested in.
Oh shit! I totally forgot about one thing that is totally in the rumor mill. They could blow all of them out of the water if it is in my price range, which I think is totally not possible. There is on the, I'm not even going to show it because it's just literally an emblem. So the Gordon Murray T50, we know about the Gordon Murray T50, which is like a crazy V12 mid-engine successor to the McLaren F1.
Yeah.
Which has an insane fan and it's a manual and it's so cool. And it's like, fuck, if I were crazy rich and I wanted a new car, that would be such a cool car to buy. So he's making the new T33, I think. There's literally just an emblem. And all I know is that it's going to be a more accessible for probably like crazy rich people, and less minimal numbers. Like I think it'll be a larger production. It'll still be mid-engine, less powerful, probably still like a crazy setup. And it's not going to be a 3-rower. I think that's going to be a cool car. I feel like I won't even be able to have a prayer of being able to buy it. But just thinking about an accessible McLaren F1, wouldn't that be nuts?
Yeah.
I think I'm most excited about in a like pie in the sky, never going to get it. But I'm going to stay practical of things that I could potentially get. GR Corolla. I'll stick by that. But close runner-up is that T30 Gordon Murray.
Yeah, very cool. I think that if the car is driving dynamics and everything else about the car is so good that it makes up for how ugly I think the back end is. I hate those fans. Like the first time I saw them, I was like, no.
Really?
It's wrong. I know that a lot of like engineer guys and lovers of Batman are going nuts, like, oh yeah, look at those fans, man. Looks cool. I understand all of the practical benefits to them, but I don't think that they're a benefit stylistically. I think that they are a detriment. Yeah. So
Is this just revenge for me shitting on your big crown?
yeah, I'm mad.
This is all we've got. T33. That's it.
I think it's I'm very excited overall. You know, you're gonna put a V12 in the middle of a car. That's exciting.
Yep, and it'll be manual.
Yeah.
And it'll be like spinning crazy RPMs. Like I think that V12 in the T50 was to 1200 RPM.
Wow.
That's crazy.
12,000.
12. Yeah, not 1200. 1200 would be quite a lugger. I don't have an issue with the back. It's kind of cool, but yeah, I do agree. Probably aesthetically, objectively,
Right.
I don't know.
It's a little
Sorry,
weird.
the one fan, if I can correct myself.
It's a little strange looking.
I don't know about these two screens here on the side, but come on. To
it's
get a
this.
supercar with a manual transmission, like Gordon Murray really knows shit. Look at that. Fuck.
Yeah,
It's
awesome.
so cool. It's a cool car. Is it the most beautiful car? No. But
No.
It's like, holy shit, that is the successor to the McLaren F1. Because the McLaren P1 and all the McLarens, 720S, 765, all these, and the Senna, all of these things, it's like, do they really have the DNA of the F1? Not really, but the T50 does. And if you could get a junior T50, if you could get a little bit of DNA from the McLaren F1, a little Gordon Murray, just leftovers. And for those who are listening to the podcast, I'm making a gesturing that, you know, leftovers being, you know, what's left in the cannon there. But anyways, I've dwelled on my car pick. What's Daniel's pick? Go ahead and shit on my idea. What's your aspiration or your hottest anticipated pick for 2022?
Well, for watches, I honestly have no idea.
We're doing cars.
But I'm just leading off by disappointing you by saying I don't have a pick for my most anticipated watch coming out.
Okay. You'll have to think quick.
On the car side of things, unfortunately it's the GT4 RS. That would be, you know, something we've already talked about. So since I'm not contributing in anything, I'll just turn my camera and mic off. I'll see you guys later.
Maybe the GT4 RSR.
Yeah.
Peter? Any thoughts?
Yeah, like we kind of already mentioned it a little bit too, but I am really looking forward to the 2022 Corvette Z06. Like Corvette's always been one of those like cars that's just like it's pretty crazy to think that Chevy makes that car. It's one of the things I've always thought. It's just like for what it is, like it keeps up with like a lot of cars that are in the next like full realm and like in a full different price point. So I think it's cool, and I think especially the newer models have come a long way, especially being that they're mid-engine now, I believe, correct?
Yep, it's mid-engine.
Yeah, mid-engine. So that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. So it'll be very, very interesting to see what the newest ones come up with, and just to think that I always love to just think that like, holy shit, that's just Chevy kind of thing. Like that's just mind blowing to me. It's just kind of crazy. But yeah, we did a little bit before, and I know we do talk about it, have talked about it a fair amount of times. But yeah, I think it's beautiful.
Are you going?
Looks like amazing.
Are you going with the base, or are you going to go with the Z07 package with the big wing and the arrow? And
if they had like I would like go like Z07. I'm just not like, if you could get Z07 package with like everything but the wing, because I kind of like that little like duckbill spoiler there. But besides that, yeah, like because I've never like, whenever I think of Corvette, like the one thing I don't think in my head is them to have like a big spoiler. That's just one thing I've never really be like. I do see like a little spoiler, and I get like the point of it being in like a track focused car, but it just doesn't really do it for me. So
look at all these different trims they have now up on the website.
Easy, that's to say. Holy,
interesting.
I think it looks really good as a convertible too. I think it looks really, really good as a convertible.
Would you get?
Yeah, I think I'd go convertible.
Okay, of course Daniel wants convertible to feel the wind blowing in his hair and in his taint. What about Peter? Peter, are you going to go coupe or convertible?
I think I'd probably go convertible. I think convertible would be kind of neat. Yeah, I don't know. I think it'd just be cool. I think it looks really good as a convertible, so might as well let it ride.
So you can still go Z07 with the convertible. I think I agree with you exactly. I would probably do the Z07 package and see if there's a way that you could take that wing off, put it off to the side until you sell it again or whatever.
Yeah,
And
maybe.
put the regular base little lip, because I think it does look more aesthetically nice. But the problem is though, then you might screw up the downforce and you might need adjustment there. So you probably need to take it to a shop that is, I don't know, I have no idea what shop has specialty in aerodynamics, but you definitely want to make sure that if you do take it to the track that things aren't screwed up, because you always hear about people who take their GT3 or GT2 to the track and they take the wing off, and then it's like, well, if you're going to take it to the track, you might actually end up in the weeds if you remove that wing. Although it looks cool on the street, most people will just stay on the street. Maybe me. No, I think I'll stick with the wing. I think the GT2 looks amazing with the wing.
And I wonder if they would take an order as like without like quote unquote wing delete as part of the package. Because like for me, the Z package on the convertible without the spoiler, and then also the the base car wheels are like, that would be the setup for me.
Really? See, I want the whole wheels, everything, and I just take the wing off, replace the wing, hold the wing. I'd want the whole thing for like whomever might want to buy it for me in the future, or just to have it. And then I'd put the other shit on. But that's just my perspective. Watches.
Wing delete, but give it to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Put it up on the
I
wall.
want the wing.
Well, yeah, that's the world I would want to live in too.
I take that approach because that's the approach I have to watches. So we all have the SKX. The 007 we both got on the bracelet, the steel bracelet, even though it's a piece of jangly shit that rattles in your pocket that's like a bunch of loose change. You take it off, you replace it with the NATO strap, and you're good. And that shit is much more daily driverable, or you upgrade it, but you still want it for whatever purpose in the future. Maybe letting go. I have it like randomly loosely. I need to keep better track of it. I gotta put it in a Ziploc bag or something. Anyways, does anyone have a hotly anticipated watch? Let's jump to that. I don't think anybody else but me did it. So let me share what I'm thinking for watch purposes. Here's what I'm looking forward to in watch purposes. It is actually, you know what? I don't really have a watch now that I think about it. Okay.
Oh my God.
We all fucked it up.
After all that.
Steve,
what a letdown. How could you not come prepared?
Hey, we all came unprepared today.
Well, my favorite watches of the year are often random releases that I can't anticipate, which is why I say that.
Well, no, we've got the leaked ones, so I think that.
Oh yeah, from the dark web, we've got the leaks.
From the dark web.
Yeah, porn watches.
Porn watches.
Porn watches.
No, I think that I fucked that up. Okay, well, I'm gonna pull this one out of the fucking air. I'm just gonna say that I want, of the things that I think that. No, I'm gonna leave it be. I'm gonna let that go. I fucked it up. I'm gonna own it, and we'll move on. You can go ahead and edit this the fuck out, or leave it in.
Own that shit.
I'm stupid. I'm owning it. You know what? I'm a fucking doctor. I had to give a national talk yesterday, so whatever.
You know what? I'm a doctor. I don't care if you're a non-technologist.
Okay, well now fuck you. I'm gonna end this on a high point after I fuck it up. So here we go. Here's an actual segment that I came somewhat prepared for. I'm gonna share the small reveal. It's not a big reveal, but it's a small reveal of an addition to the garage. So here's the new edition of something that's coming in, literally a decision that was made like an hour or half an hour before coming onto this. So we were just randomly, my wife's friend, I helped her pick out a car a while ago. back in 2017, and I helped her kind of deal with the dealer and doing a trade-in and everything. And then she bought it, and then she was like, "Hey, can you help me sell it? Because I gotta, go to an SUV." So now she was like, "Can you help me sell this car?" And I was like, "Sure." And then I turned to my wife and I was like, "Why don't you just buy it for the price that, like for her cost? Like she doesn't want any profit." So this is a 2017 330 X Drive.
Awesome.
One owner, just owned by her friend, and it's automatic, but it's got some paddle shift. It's fully loaded. It's a 4-cylinder 2-liter turbo. It would have been nice if it was 340 and a 6-cylinder, and it would have been nice if it was a manual, but it's not my car. It's going to be hers, and she's going to enjoy it. So yeah, it's mineral white with black leather and red piping on sports seats. It's got the upgraded stereo, nav, everything pretty much, and heated seats. And other than, I think it probably has to have a front brake job. They did the rear rotors recently. It's in great shape, no accidents, no claims, 63,000 kilometers. And it's in great, like they've literally driven it to Saskatchewan mainly to drive those miles up. And I think it's low medium on the average scale. And yeah, I think it's a great upgrade from my wife's Civic.
Yeah.
Or really her Mazda that she went up from. What do you think? Good choice. Basically, we're taking it from them for the trade-in value. I think it'll need a brake job. It'll need new tires. Probably an engine bay clean.
I'd buy it. Yeah, I love those cars.
I think that it'll come in at around 26.5, and then maybe to do the tires and the brakes, we're looking at maybe another 2K.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a cool car.
Yeah, they're great cars.
Yeah.
I hope it goes well. I think the interior is mint.
Oh yeah, the whole car is mint.
The M Sport seats and the red piping looks awesome. It really it literally upgrades the entire interior.
The wheels have definitely been
seats.
fucked up on the parking.
Well, you know how those people are in Alberta and in the prairies.
Yeah.
So used to driving in fields. Oh, that's a curb?
Holy, those wheels have been through some damage.
Yeah. Other than the wheels, I think it's in great condition, and maybe the front brakes. But yeah.
Yeah, but fuck the maintenance stuff. Who cares? Like, it's got relatively decent mileage on it. It's a good price.
And it's all miles to
tires and brakes have to be replaced. Just how it is.
Yeah, it's all miles to just go to Saskatchewan. So whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So those are good cars.
But I've been told that this requires selling the Civic and not fucking with our backyard.
Oh, what? That's not a fair deal.
Yeah, we can only do the garage. Like, we can't adjust the garage because it's just a 2-car garage, but we've got the lift in. And I was like toying with the idea of like knocking down that fence or having the fence open up so that you could drive into where the grass area is. That's fucked now. She's gonna park in the front. I'll have to run out with a fucking tarp when it's hailing and cover it when, and just like sprawl all over it and try not to get hail on it. But otherwise, cool car. I think it's
I want to do donuts in the RS in the backyard.
That's pretty much the real reason.
Yeah.
Well, I think that those are the major highlights of the day. We've gone on for far long enough because pretty much the only audience member who listens to this, I've been told, listens for 5 to 10 minutes. And he would like me to shut the fuck up. So I'm going to shut the fuck up and stop talking about things and creating segments for things that I haven't prepared. We're not looking forward to anything in the future with regards to watches. So fuck you with all all the watchmakers. Don't make anything new. Keep doing the same shit because Steve is unprepared. I dropped the ball. I will own it. But
I came prepared. But I brought my most recent purchase from the car shop, my audio car stereo removal kit, so I can finally fix my car's stereo system and remove that head unit.
We all know that Daniel is the #1 car audio head thief in Toronto.
Yes. Little did you know, this is actually in the smash and grab section at Napa. Hammer not included. You have to go to a different aisle to get hammers.
Anybody who is thinking of parking in Toronto, go back to your head units that you can pull out like MacGruber and walk around.
I will time exactly how long it takes me to remove my stereo with this, and then I will make that public information so people know how much time they need in order to jack someone's stereo.
Well,
news over.
What will confuse Daniel the most is if you're parking your car and you don't want your audio system broken into, light some candles, put out some dildos and vibrators, and he will get so distracted, he will just think it's bath time. And
well, I was going to MacGruber your car stereo, but now I'm suddenly interested in something else.
Now I'm in a different mood.
I'm going to MacGruber something else.
He's talking about his penis. Well, everybody, it's been a pleasure. Good catching up. Sorry for the delay in the newest episodes. It's a good 2022 to ring in with you guys. And we hope that you all get your boosters. And if you're an anti-vaxxer, you can fuck right off.
Yeah.
Well, we've just ensured that this podcast is going nowhere. And we wish you all a very happy 2022. And I look forward to many more podcasts with my good friends here.
Me too. And all the stereos I'll take along the way.
Keep your decks keep your decks in your hands and light the candle for Daniel. All right. Peace out, everyone. Have a good one. We'll see you.